Where the fuck did that come from, Yilmaz? So after 2 goals for Sima, well, a goal and a goal contribution, I think it was an own goal, there's no way it was on target, it was probably a cutback, and an absolutely superb run and finish from Yilmaz. Rangers are through to the semi-final of the Viaplay Cup. Now, when we look at the game overall, to be honest, I think it's been a bit of an improvement. It couldn't get any worse than the Motherwell game, so I definitely think this game we played with a lot more bravery, a lot less pressure, and a more commanding grasp in the game. Now, firstly, I would like to say that Sima, I thought, had a much, much better game, and although fans will probably argue that the performances before the game against Livingston doesn't really qualify him to earn praise during this game, but to be honest, I thought he played pretty well. Now, obviously, a massive talking point, and from rival fans, a massive talking point's obviously going to be the push before the goal, and in my opinion, I never want to see something that soft be given as a foul, regardless of what team it is. But even I had to admit, I was hesitant when the goal went in that it wasn't going to get pulled back for VAR, because to be honest, I've seen 9 out of 10 of those ones given. Still not a foul though. Regardless of the build up, I thought the finish on it was superb. The angle at which he strikes the ball, curls it into the net, the far corner, it was absolutely beautiful. And we know for a fact Sima's got that in his locker. I'd quite like to see him drift out wide a lot more often if he's going to cut in and have the bravery to take those kind of shots on. Obviously he's got a lot to work on, but we do sometimes see subtle glimpses that there is in fact a player in there. Now obviously when I saw Roof as well was starting the game, to be honest, if I was putting a Koopman on for that game, I'd have put him on to score. It's a shame he got took off at half time. Don't really know why he got took off at half time. It seemed to me like it was more tactical, or preserving his fitness moving on to the game against Aberdeen. He might not be fully 100% there yet, but I must admit I was slightly worried when I seen him coming off that early in the game. But well, it doesn't really seem anything dangerous. You didn't see him hobble throughout the game, so I think we can breathe a sigh of relief for that one. I think the performance overall, yes, there were some stages where we were thinking brilliant, we look like we're starting to kick on here, we're seeing a bit of demand, a bit of energy, a bit of intensity. But let's not forget there were spells throughout the game where we started to fall back into those little lulls that we've seen so far throughout the games in the first stage of the season. And a player I would absolutely love to give a shout out in this video that I never thought I'd be giving a shout out when I saw the team lineup was Yilmaz. I thought Yilmaz had a really decent game. Obviously there were some mistakes here and there, losing the ball a little bit too easily, but to be honest, he made up for it with that outstanding run for the second goal. The pace at which he ran the length of that park, to be honest, I didn't really think he had it in him. It's just a shame that the common story this season so far is every time a player shows a bit of promise, a bit of initiative, shows a bit of form, he ends up going down fucking injured. But to be honest, the way he went down, I can't really see him being out for that long. It doesn't look that serious. It might just be precautionary, but here's hoping, because that injury list is just fucking out of this world at this point. A player that's always kind of grabbed the headlines when he's played throughout the Rangers community is Lammers. And tonight, I mean, he was okay. I mean, I think we can all agree that when he's on his game, he's a very, very technical player. He's showed numerous occasions that he can get out of pretty difficult and tight situations pretty intelligently. It's just a shame that when he has that odd, bad pass or that bad touch, it's just absolute disastrous. I mean, I'm pretty sure during one point of the game he tried to take control of a ball, it ended up bouncing off his head, bouncing off his arm. It was just a fucking disaster. You can't really complain about the way he played tonight. Dessers, when he come on, I don't know, I just think he still seems a little bit lost, a little bit out of touch with whatever the way is Beale wants to play, and I think if there is a player in there, there's still so much work to be done. Another player to note is Cifuentes. Again, I think had a pretty quiet game, although in the odd times and the odd occasions when he has affected the game in a positive manner previously and in this game against Livingston, the one thing he has shown us is that he's got and a ridiculous pass in his locker. Some of those big switch balls and some of those early crosses into the box have been outstanding. It's just a shame that we're always, in terms of strikers, in the box, we're always just that yard off a perfect cross, which I believe with the bravery and that gamble, I think could score us a barrowload of goals this season. There's absolutely no doubt this game was a lot more comfortable probably for the players to play in and probably for fans to watch than it was on Sunday. I think all in all, Beale kind of got the tactics right. He didn't really try to overthink anything. I think he kept it simple, which is the way I think we should have started playing after the disastrous start we had at the start of the season. I think if there is an opportunity for Beale to stay on at the club, I think dialing it back and going back to the basics is probably the way forward and the way to change the team for the better, because there's no point in him sitting there game after game thinking, right, how do I change this? How would Guardiola change this, and try to overthink everything, make things more complicated for the players especially, make things more complicated for the fans to watch, make things more complicated for himself. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, as a fan, after that performance, I feel a little bit more comfortable going into the Aberdeen game, but let's be honest, every time we come up against an Aberdeen team, every game's pretty much a cup final, so we can't take this win and get complacent with it. I mean, we've not really got any room to be complacent anyway after the start of the season we've had, but nevertheless, we've finally managed to put a video in the Blue Sea channel that's no got a negative spin on it, so it almost feels weird for me to sit and make this video. And to be honest, we could not have picked a more shite time to start a Rangers YouTube channel, but there we go. Hopefully we can eat some shit now and reap the rewards later on. Just as I've made this video, the cup draw has actually already been made, and well, turns out we've got Hearts next, which obviously is going to be a really tough game, but again, we're rivals out the cup. There's really no excuses for getting past these kind of teams and going on to take that first piece of silverware for the season. As I said in the previous video, there's nothing more important to turn a season around, to turn hopes around, than getting that first piece of silverware. It's absolutely essential for us at this moment. So what I want you to do is, I want you to go into the comments and let me know whether you think that this performance is maybe a sign of things to come. Is it a sign that we're trying to, bring stuff back to the basics and push on with our own play style for there? Or are we really just papering over the cracks for the inevitable? Also remember to like and subscribe if you're liking the content. We've absolutely loved the support and the growth we've had so far. We've been absolutely buzzing with it. Remember, all our links to our socials are in the description below, and we'll see you next time.